We have today for one of our incredible conversations, a good friend of mine. I'm going to say Dr. Brian LeBlanc. Brian, he's a doctor, but not a medical doctor. He is a doctor of life, quite frankly. But Brian is someone that I'm so excited for you guys to meet. We've known one another now for a couple of years, but from the very first time that we met, we just really connected very personally. And we've been really an inspiration and a source of support and just joy and inner peace for each other. And so I just want to share a little bit about Brian, because it's not just Brian's experience that's so incredible about him, but it's who he is. And so Brian LeBlanc is originally from New Orleans, whoop, whoop, and now makes his home in Largo, Florida. It was in Pensacola, Florida, where he found his niche in the professional world. And I don't think I knew this about Brian, but he found his niche in the professional world as a marketing and public relations executive. All that changed in October of 2014 when he was diagnosed with younger onset Alzheimer's disease, thus becoming the fourth generation in his family to receive this diagnosis. In June 2019, he was also diagnosed with vascular dementia. Being he made a career by using his voice, he knew he had to use it now to advocate and educate for persons living with dementia and their care partners. He does this also to honor his mother, who died with Alzheimer's disease. Brian is now an international Alzheimer's advocate, keynote speaker, session presenter, panelist, and congressional Alzheimer's ambassador for the Alzheimer's Association. He speaks at international, national, regional, and local conferences, seminars, and workshops. He is also a crisis intervention team trainer for law enforcement. Brian's presentation provides a window into the journey of a regular guy from a regular life who is living with a progressive, disabling, degenerative brain disease. He speaks from the heart, leaving his audience with the truest perspective he can give. I am just honored to have this conversation with Brian, which I'm sure will lead to other conversations as well. He is a true inspiration. Welcome, Brian, to Soul Health Conversations with Deborah.
Well, thank you very much. You made me sound really, really good there. So I probably need to record that and play that as an introduction when I'm walking out on stage.
Well, I think that you should. I'm so excited for you to be here and more. I'm excited about all that I know, all that I know you have that pours out into people and into the world that is not, it might have started because of your diagnosis and your story, but what truly comes out is I think that your experiences offer insight into how we can really live an abundant life, even when things don't go the way we thought that they would go. Mm-hmm. And your sense of humor is infectious. And so I would like to open up by just having you just share a little bit about how you arrived at this place that you're in right now, emotionally, from the perspective of what you're doing professionally, but just a combination of the two.
Got it. Well, thank you. And thank you for that introduction. And that I thought, I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, I did that. And
yes, you did that. Yes.
But, okay, I want to start off with this. And it's just a small little exercise that I would like for you to do. I want you all.
Is this for me or for the audience?
Oh, this for everybody.
Okay, all right.
Everybody.
Okay.
When you are a child and then teenage years and then into your 20s and you're, living life and so forth, you probably set some goals that you wanted to reach and so forth. And so what I would like for you to do is, for those of you that are between 40 and 50, let's put it that way, I would like for you to just close your eyes. And I want you to think how much you have in your life, how much love, how much happiness, the friends that you have, all these things. You have dreams, and your dreams are so lifelike because, when you dream, you see and feel like you can touch all these things. And sometimes they stay in your mind and sometimes they don't. Well, look at it this way. You're in between the 40 and 50 range. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to open your eyes and think about, you just got diagnosed and delivered a result of the test that you have Alzheimer's disease. In that time frame, 40 and 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 60.
Yeah.
But in my 40s and 50s, I did a lot of living. At least I thought I did. I think back now on things that I thought I did, but I didn't really. But they still bring me joy. They bring me happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just sit in my recliner sometimes, no TV, no music, just in silence. And I go back in my head to all these memories.
Yeah.
And it is so unbelievable that I still have those memories back in my long-term memory.
Yeah.
Most of the time I can't remember what yesterday was, and I hardly ever know what day it is.
Yeah.
If I'm not sitting in front of my calendar book, I'll yell to Maureen and I'll say, Maureen, what day is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is an incredible exercise, because it connects you.
Yeah.
To, it's not just feelings, but it really connects you to your dreams, your emotions, how you felt during a certain time. And it's so interesting because you and I, we've had rich conversations like this, but we then come to realize how invaluable time is. And when anything happens, and, I don't have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, but I'm certainly been on an 11-year journey with my mother who does. And for the caregiver, you're in many ways living it with the person, like up close and personal, but in a different way, obviously.
You are living with dementia through your mother.
That's right.
And Maureen's the one that came up with, and I'm sure somebody else said it too, but
right.
She told me one day, she says, you're not the only person that's living with dementia in this relationship.
Yeah.
And
so true.
I immediately went to what did I do wrong?
Right.
And she says, I'm living it with you.
Yes, right.
It's not like I have the disease, but I'm living with someone who has the disease. And little by little, I can see how much you've progressed. Yep. I can see you forget words, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I wish I had the magic wand. I could just swish it and everything would be fine again, but it's not.
I think that statement right there, it resonates with me. I wish I had a magic wand and I can make it all go away. I think for me as a minister, as someone that has a variety of different experiences, even though I am, my ministry is not a church in the traditional sense, I have these experiences of, healing and, almost in some cases a denial that certain things exist or that they should exist, when the reality is that, God doesn't take everything away. And so when you say a magic wand, I just really resonate with that, because sometimes there are just certain things that for whatever reason we have to go through them. And I think that that's one of the incredible things about your character. People may say I'm biased because of our relationship, but I really do think that. I really do think that. I remember, and I want us to talk about the stigma. I want us to talk about what that's meant in your life, how that's changed you, how it affects what you do every day. But I wanted to mention that this piece that you did on YouTube, is it Into the Fog or?
Yeah, that was WebMD. This is when I was still living in Pensacola. They came to Pensacola to do that documentary on me.
Yes, I think that it was just incredibly powerful. I've shared that with so many people. It was just extremely powerful. But, is there any way that you could talk about, like, just expand a little bit on how this has changed you? How this journey has really changed you?
It's changed me in good ways and unfortunately some bad. Mm-hmm. I'll talk about the good first. Mm-hmm. The good parts are the memory bank that I have. It of course changes every day. one thing that I might have done yesterday, I want to remember that day. But if I don't have my camera with me, come on, turn. There you go. Okay. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the trouble with backgrounds.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting in my garden.
Yeah.
So I have also found that the other individuals that I know now, their friendship is so important, because you could be having the worst day ever. In your mind, you think that this is the worst day ever. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call one of your friends and say, hey, I need to talk. And 9 times out of 10, what's wrong? And so you talk to each other. And the camaraderie that you have formed with these people, it's a very, very slim chance that what you're going through, they also, it's a great chance that what you're going through, they've gone through. So they can give you advice, but the statement that when you know one person with a dementia-related illness, you know just that one person. Because what goes on with you and what goes on with them can be 2 entirely different things, but the result is kind of on the same wavelength.
Right.
So we depend upon one another. We have this a group that we just formed. It's headquartered in Michigan.
Right.
And it's called wow, I forgot the name.
It'll come.
Yeah. Well, it's all about people that are living with a dementia-related illness.
Yeah.
And it's varied. We have Alzheimer's, we have Lewy body, we have Parkinson's, we have all these different types of dementia. Because that way, if a question is asked by someone, don't give me a question that talks about Parkinson's, because I really don't know too much.
The answer. Yeah.
So
yeah.
We defer to Billy. Billy knows all about Parkinson's. And
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you think that, like just based on what you're sharing, that you have become more open to being connected to other people in this way?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
that's one of the things that you think that has really changed, that going through this has changed you in this way to be more connected.
Exactly.
I got it.
And, it's like, I hope I'm not skipping over things, but, when you're diagnosed, I won't say everyone, but certain people that are in your circle of friends, they change their opinion of you.
Yep.
They don't call.
Nope.
They don't return phone calls. They will, like if Maureen and I are out somewhere and we see someone we know, they'll come up and they'll start talking with us and so forth. And then I call this the lean in, and they lean in and they go, so how's he doing?
That's crazy.
And I just stand there. And now Maureen she doesn't take any slack from anybody.
Right. I know. I love her for that reason.
Lucky me, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, she will turn to them and say, Alzheimer's doesn't affect the hearing.
Right.
He can hear you.
Yeah.
And he can answer that question himself.
Right.
And you can just see them going,
yeah.
And I'm not making fun. I'm just pointing out a fact that I think this also has to do with why we don't have a cure yet. Because
really, tell me what you mean by that.
Because Alzheimer's and other types of dementia, now other types of dementia like Parkinson's and Lewy body,
right.
they are getting some positive things that they can do to help them along.
Right.
Alzheimer's, nothing. They try to come out with these new medications.
But are you saying that the reason why is because, see if you can pinpoint for me, what's in that? Because I think it's really important. Are you saying that there's an emotional element that they're not, tell me what you mean. You think that's why they haven't been able to find a cure yet? because I think it's important that people understand what you're saying.
Right. Okay.
Because you use that example of how people communicate with you
Right.
when they
Right.
find out you have, and I think, let me tell you why this is important. This is important because I personally believe that a lot of the things that we go through hold up a mirror. And I truly believe, in my experience and people that I've talked to, that caregiving is another one of those things that it's not a window as much as it creates a mirror into who we are, the areas of our life that may need some healing, relationships that need some reconciliation. And so that's why I think this is really important, because we're going to talk about the stigma, we're going to talk about the myths, but it's also attached to how people see people dealing with certain things and how they change more than we change.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can pinpoint that about the cure, I think it would be intriguing.
Basically, what I'm trying to say that Alzheimer's is the most misunderstood disease.
Yes, that's so powerful.
And what they're now, I do have to commend them for working day and night and all they're trying to find what works. There are some medications that are helping in the cognitivity area, and there's others that are, I'm not really sure what they do. But and frankly, it's just a trial. It's like, here, I'd like for you to try this.
Right.
And I've been wanting to get into a trial, but because I have Alzheimer's and vascular dementia, most of the time I'm excluded because they want someone just
purely Alzheimer's.
So there I am being, I guess there's no other way to face it, but I'm being stigmatized by just having Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why can't you help be like Bob down the street? He's got Alzheimer's and this disease and that disease, and he has ingrown toenails.
Yeah.
That's the type of person that we don't want.
Yeah.
So it angers me sometimes because I'm putting myself out there, and so are a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And then time after time after time, you just turn down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to figure out a way. How am I going to live? What's going to be my life in another 10 years, in another 20 years? And yes, I will be 80 by that time. And I'm trying to put myself there.
Yeah.
To see what it's going to be like, because my intention is to be there.
Yes.
In the 80s.
Yes. I think that, oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, but you never know the future.
Let me tell you this, you never know the future, but without Alzheimer's, you never know the future.
Exactly.
And I think that, one of the profound lessons of which I don't know that we've captured or gotten the lesson yet with COVID is that on a dime, life can change.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I appreciate about you and the choices that you've made in your life, even though difficult at times, is this commitment that you've had for living the best life you can possibly live. And I think that is a lesson that I don't care if you have Alzheimer's or not. It teaches people that may have every opportunity, everything, every jewel or pearl they could have about life and health, they take for granted.
Yeah.
And so I think that a conversation around valuing time, around making the most of the time that you have, is not necessarily a conversation anticipating yourself to die, but It's a conversation about living a rich life, because nothing is promised to anyone. And so, that's what I see in you. That's what you teach me. That's what you teach. You may teach about Alzheimer's, but as I've always said to you, you're really teaching about other things underneath the Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So
it's very complex.
It is. And I think that's just powerful what you pointed out about it being a complex, misunderstood disease. Because don't you find that sometimes people communicate with you or talk to you, or even in your essence, like as if you don't have feelings?
Yeah. Oh, I can say this because they won't understand what I'm saying anyway.
Or they won't feel anything.
Won't feel, yeah, exactly.
And even though you may not remember things, it doesn't mean that in this particular place that you're in that you don't feel things.
Right.
Remembering things and not feeling things are two completely different things, you know?
Trust me, I know that all too well.
Right, right. And so talk a little bit about, well, two things I want to talk about: isolation and how your relationships changed. It's a conversation we've had in the past, but we've talked a little bit in the past about how having Alzheimer's, or finding out that you have Alzheimer's, and how the relationships and people around you changed. And I think that's important to connect with other people because, number one, during COVID, we've experienced so much isolation. And even different than COVID, when we go through things, people may project onto you what has changed in them, and therefore relationships begin to change and fall away.
Exactly.
Talk to me about that. Talk to everyone about that a little bit.
Well, what you just said, when people talk to each other, or, you know, to me, they will say, hey, did this happen to you? And they'll explain a scenario to where they walked from the living room into the kitchen. By the time they got into the kitchen, they have no idea why they're there.
Yeah.
And that goes for, you know, that goes for people that don't have Alzheimer's.
Right.
But it freaks them out.
Right.
I had a friend of mine that it was his daughter's wedding, and we were at the reception, and he came up to me and he says, he goes, I need to talk to you. And so I said, okay. And I saw the seriousness on his face.
Right, right.
And he says, and he's looking around, you know, to make sure nobody can hear him. And he says, I lost my car keys yesterday. And I said, oh. Now I knew exactly what he was going at. And so me being who I am, I said, this is an important question. I said, did you find them? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, now tell me this. Were they in the refrigerator or in the microwave? And he looked at me and he said, no, they were still in my car. He said, why did you ask me that? I said, that tells me that you're okay.
What did he say?
He just started cracking
up laughing.
He goes, so this happens to people that don't have Alzheimer's? Yeah. I said, you know, you're not a young man anymore. You're about middle age. I said, it's going to happen more.
Yeah.
Don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
It so happens that you misplaced your keys, and sooner or later they're going to turn up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different thing.
It really is.
How do you think that, like in the beginning, when you were first diagnosed and were facing this mountain, how did your relationships change with people?
Yeah.
Or how did their relationship with you change?
Yeah.
Is probably the better question.
You know, I have to admit that after I got diagnosed, I didn't get out of bed for about the next 3 days. I got up to eat, go to the bathroom, but I just climbed back in bed. I was in a deep depression. Yeah. And I had this, it was on the third. Now, this goes to show you that how my brain works. I can remember this just like it was clear as day.
Yeah.
I don't know what day this is. I don't really know what month we're in.
Yeah.
So Maureen bought me this big digital clock that sits in the living room. It tells me the day.
Yeah.
So, but I had this dream, and the dream was, and if you've heard this already, I've told this story a lot. In the dream, I was a boxer, and for some reason, I got matched with the biggest man I have ever seen. And I said, you know, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do to this one. And they said, just go out there and try your best. So I said, okay. So the bell rings. I went out there and, you know, I started swinging and doing stuff. And he just kind of looked at me, and all of a sudden I had a glove going right on my chin, and I was out. I was out for the count.
Yeah.
And I knew that immediately. I hit the mat, but then I literally saw the numbers of 10, 9, 8 as the referee was counting me down.
Yeah.
And I started thinking to myself, I got to get up. If I don't get up, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Now that meant that if I didn't get up sooner, before that count goes to 0, I'm going to die. So I was filled with anxiousness. I was filled with hope, but I had a little bit of strength.
All it takes is a seed.
And exactly. And so I keep hearing the numbers getting lower and lower. He got down all the way to 2. And I said, if I don't get up by 1, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And so I struggled with every bit that I could to wake myself up, which I did. And I sat up in bed.
Yeah.
Never heard that 1.
Well, you've been moving. You've been moving since then. And
so I thought, wow, what just happened here?
Yeah.
Because I had a very, very moment, a big moment of clarity. But it's also something that has stuck with me throughout these years. That was back in 2014 when I got diagnosed.